Portugal is so much more than Lisbon and Porto. If you're new to the channel, my name is Trisha. My husband Randy and I have been van lifers for over 2 years, but we took a month off to visit Portugal. I have tons of videos on our Portugal travel playlist. A friend met up with us on the last week, and I really had to think about which highlights to show her. So, in no particular order, here are my top 5. Now, I love Lagos, and it is a must for a top 5 list. But we didn't show it to my friend Julia because it was just too far from the cluster of other cities and it would have eaten up too much time. So if you have the time, definitely see Lagos, which is known for its amazing golden cliffs and turquoise water. Plus, it also has a really quaint town. It is the farthest south and feels more tropical. Like most tourists, we flew into Lisbon, but Porto is also an option. Disclaimer, we did not travel north of Porto, and I have heard that Braga is awesome, along with several national parks up there. My husband insisted on driving the whole time, without incident, I might add. But keep in mind that Portugal has a great public transportation network of trains and buses. They are very affordable, and visitors are encouraged to use them. The roads in Portugal are pretty great, but the toll roads are expensive. You pay for the convenience. We took a lot of toll roads, but we really like to explore the small villages and towns, so we took even more small, windy roads. Most of the time, maybe 95% of the time, we had good cell service and just used Google Maps to get around. We also used Google Translate for restaurants and more rural places where people didn't speak English. The Portuguese people are so sweet and patient. Not so much when we crossed into Spain, just saying. With that said, when these sweet people get behind the wheel, they all become Formula One drivers, tailgating and pushing, so be prepared. Randy has driven a lot of places: Italy, New York, LA. We're from Atlanta. Um, Pretty much every U.S. major city. And the Portuguese drivers are a notch above aggressive. Then you talk to them, and they're so relaxed and sweet. I guess they leave it all out there on the road. So, back to our favorites. Monsanto is my favorite Portuguese village. It is one of the most unique towns that I have ever seen. The homes and shops are built from stone between, below, and above massive boulders perched on a mountainside, topped off with the ruins of a Templar castle. What more could you want? I mean, really. Main tip: wear hiking boots or really sturdy athletic shoes. This is not a place to look chic in your high heels or wedges. In fact, most of Portugal is pretty challenging for footwear. On the Portugal travel playlist, you'll see more in-depth accounts of where to stay. We'll give you tours of where we've stayed and more in depth about the small towns in between these top picks. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free for all of our travel hints and tips. Coming back west through central Portugal, there's so much to see. We went over the highest mountain, Serra da Estrela, but you can quickly cross the country on the highways to the town of Tomar. We liked it so much that we saw it twice. The town is magical with a river, gardens, and cafes. Don't miss the castle and convent. Wind your way to the top. Great views. The tour was well worth it. You could easily spend a day or two exploring. So now I'm going to take you to the West Coast. And although we loved several towns along the Silver Coast, including the famous surfer haven Nazare, Ericeira checks all the boxes for being a hoppin' vacation town. The seafood is absolutely fabulous, and the beaches go on and on. The town is full of twisting, narrow roads and full of local flavor, and the goats are awesome. Close by Ericeira is a mountain town that is the closest thing to a fairy tale village that I have ever seen. The problem is that everyone knows about Sintra. It is just north of Lisbon and is included in must-sees of the city, and I really don't like densely packed tourist attractions, but I have to include it. Try to go off-season. Where we stayed was perfect. I'll tell you more about that in the in-depth videos. The 3 palace castles that we toured were amazing. Winding through the narrow, sun-dappled lanes was enchanting. Climbing to the top of the old Moorish castle with sweeping views to the sea was straight out of a storybook. Waiting in long lines to peek inside Sintra Palace was not my cup of tea, but well worth it. The details, texture, and colors of the fantastical architecture kept us occupied as we crept toward the entrance. Once inside, we had more breathing room to explore and drink in every fabulous detail. I could keep going on and on with this list. Portugal is fantastic. I loved all the small towns and the well-known sites of Lisbon and Porto. I have made 23 videos thus far on Portugal, not to mention the 160 plus videos exploring the USA. So subscribe, it's free, to join us for all of our travel hints and tips. See you on the next adventure.